Oh, man. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It's been a while. Welcome to another episode of Talking Guitars and More, episode 25. Yeah, man, it's Saturday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have a great show lined up for you this evening. We're going to talk about some EVH guitars and other artist model guitars, get some opinions on that from the panel and whatever else is going to be thrown in there. So we're looking forward to that. So speaking of the panel, let's get ready to bring them in. All right, all the way from down south, my man, Mr. Andrew Knox is here.
What's up, everybody? How you doing, Joe?
All right, my friend.
Cushman, how you?
Cushman, how are you? And all the way from up north, so we go from extreme south to up north. You know him, you love him, the man from King Cobra. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Stafford.
King Cobra. Thank you, Joe. What's happening, Andrew? Right. Yeah, ever since I've been in that band, I've been seeing reels on Facebook of these guys trying to kiss cobras. I'm like, not smart. No. And now reels are popping up where they're actually getting bit. So I'm like,
no.
I might watch those.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah.
That's sad right there. Coach, man, how are you doing? Thank you. I'm going to the wrong camera. I got this new webcam, so I'm trying to get used to it right here in front. Usually I got the Zoom Q2N over here on the tripod, but I'm using this camera here. So thank you, Coach Man, for being here. Thank you very much, man.
Koosh.
Yes. Kush man. Hope I'm saying that right.
I used to have one of my very good friends, co-worker. His name was Koosh.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a super cool guy, man. So,
oh, nice.
Koosh man. That reminded me of my old buddy from 20 years ago. I haven't seen in 20 years, but yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen him in 20 years?
Yeah, he went to a different company closer to where he lives. And, but yeah, I always enjoyed working with him. He was a great guy.
Nice.
Well, we were young then. We were in our 20s. So, interesting to see him now.
Yeah, time flies, man. That's for sure. Let's go around the board here and see how everybody's been doing. Myself, I just been working, man, trying to get stuff done with work. I've been playing some here and there. Played some last night, played some today, and just chilling. And back to the grind tomorrow being Sunday. If you are subbed to this channel or if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that my week starts on Sunday. So back to that again tomorrow. But anyway, that's tomorrow. We're worried about tonight. Let's go to Mr. Andrew Knox, man. How have you been, sir?
Been doing well, man. Much like probably the rest of us that work for a living, hadn't played as much as I've wanted to, but I have gotten to play some. We've had some beautiful weather down here. It's cooled off a little bit, but it's still Florida. So other than that, man, post-hurricanes and all that kind of stuff, it's been nice.
Oh, okay, good. Good deal. Good. Thank you for being here. Let's move over to Mr. Stafford. Mr. Dave, how have you been, man?
I've been good, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Up here in the Midwest, we're in the fall season, and where many of you might hear Midwesterns say, hey, look at the colors, I think it sucks because all the leaves are dropping.
You get them.
I've done leaves twice already. I spent 4 hours today trying to de-leave my yard, and I quite frankly, winter and fall can kiss my ass.
All right.
Other than that, it's going good.
Dave is not a fan of when it gets cold up there. I remember that from years ago.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Get away
Frank,
from Minnesota.
Up,
yeah, let's take a look at this chat real quick. Let's take a look and let's say hey to some people here. Of course, we got Andrew and Dave in the chat, and Kush. He says it rhymes with push. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Let me get my yeah, that's right. There you go. All right, let's get my applause ready there. Thank you, Kush. Thank you very much. Mr. Frank C. What's up, Mr. Frank?
What's up,
How you
Mr.
doing,
Frank?
man?
How you doing?
Mr. Frank, man, I'm a huge supporter of the channel, man. Thank you so much. I keep looking at that dang camera. Wrong camera, Joe. All right, thank you, Mr. Frank, for being here. Thank you so much. Blue Mox is here. Hey, there he is. All right.
Blue Mox.
All right. Yeah, man. Let's see. Let's go down. Let's work our way down. Mr. Jim Guidry's in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Jimbo.
Oh, Jimbo. There I go over here again. And my buddy from the open road, Slick Rick, goes by the moniker of Large Car Lifestyle right here, driving the big
that?
Peterbilt.
Yeah, I'll give you one
Slick
too.
Rick, major trucking. One call does it all.
Still ain't got my shirt yet. Just like,
Uh-oh.
it's not your fault, Ricky. It's Joe's fault.
Oh, yeah, it's my fault. Man. Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
look what Frank said. He says, yeah, Stafford, I got sick of leaves that I moved. Right? It's like in the
man.
fall, like sometimes I've done them up to 7 times in the fall, and they still don't all fall off the trees until the new leaves, blossom in the spring. And then you got to do them like 4 or 5 times in the spring. It's just like, like, oh, I love the 4 seasons here. I'm like, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Other than that, it is a beautiful state. It is gorgeous. Other than that,
palm trees usually don't drop their fronds too much unless it's just dead, which there's plenty of that around.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Come on down anytime, Dave. Especially in the wintertime. It was 85 today. Come on.
9 more years, man. I'm not going to be hanging up here in the wintertime. I can tell you that.
Oh, man.
Tell my girls, go to somewhere warm for college. Go to a warm place for college.
Yeah.
Go down south.
Right.
Oh, man. That's awesome, man. All right. So, gentlemen, have y'all been playing any guitar lately? I think Andrew said he was a little bit. Dave, what about you, man?
Oh, man, I've been playing a lot.
Okay, cool.
I've been playing a lot. Actually bought another guitar. We did have to cancel since the last time I talked with you, Joe. We had to cancel our last big Halloween Moto Farm Bash.
Right.
Unfortunately, Rob, our drummer, he has his own business. He's a carpenter and remodels, works on stuff, and got his hand caught between a window and trim that he was working on, and sliver went down in. He pulled it out, thought nothing of it. Besides, it hurt like a bitch. He knew it went deep, and then the next day his hand swelled all up, and he couldn't move it. And sending me pictures. I'm like, yeah, man, you need to go to urgent care. And he went into urgent care, and he was like, hopefully there's just a piece of wood in there that they can get out and can be on his way, and he'll be able to drum. Because that night we had a gig, and there's 18 bands, and we were playing at 10 o'clock at night, like 1 or 2 before the headliner, and they're like, oh no. Hooked him up with the IV, pumped him with antibiotics, said you're staying overnight. He had surgery at 7 o'clock that night. We had to message the people putting the show on and say, hey, I'm sorry. We're not going to be able to play the show. And we played it last year, and he had to spend the night in the hospital to make sure that after surgery the antibiotics were going to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, take
So-
effect. Yeah.
You said it was between the window. Was that in a car or
No,
at,
house.
at work?
It was at house. Yeah, he's replacing windows in the house,
Okay.
and he was up on a ladder. And I could be getting the details wrong too a little bit, but as far as I know, he was coming down in the very old trim in the house. His hand kind of like went in between the window and trim, and a sliver went kind of like down in, and hit a tendon in here. And he thought, well, it's just swelled up and sore from a tendon, or there's a sliver in there, and his middle finger swelled up like, I mean, like this the next day. And he's like, I can't even grab a drumstick. He's like, it's... So not only was he out that week, 2 weeks ago, this week too, we practiced Wednesday night, and he was going to try to make practice. And he's like, I I can't risk ripping that back open, you know, because it was just healing up because they split it wide open and cleaned it all out. And so I did practice with the bass player. Our vocalist was on cruise, and this coming week we should be back into a hopefully
regular rhythm.
Yeah. So
I hope so.
in the meantime, I wrote a new song. I bought another guitar. So when I have downtime, that's what happens, you know.
Yeah.
If you're not playing them, we buying them, right? I mean, you know.
That's right.
Or a little of both, you know what I mean? I can't gig like I need to fill the void. I can't gig it tonight. So
Speaking of
later on, I want to see what that is.
Yeah, we're going to see that here in just a few minutes. But I just wanted to tell y'all this and see what your thoughts were. Since we're going to, this will be a good segue. Just a couple of nights ago, I was heading home from work, and I don't know why this crossed my head, but it'll cross my mind rather. And I was like, I wonder how much those Ernie Ball Music Man guitars are going for. The Eddie Van Halen models, not just the Music Man Axis, but the actual Eddie models that came out in like the early '90s. Man, I pulled those up on Reverb coming home, and I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, there's some of those models are going for like 10,000 up.
I don't know that they're going for that, but that's what they have them listed.
That's what I meant. That's what they have them listed for. I mean, I wouldn't pay that for nothing. I mean, there ain't no way. But one guy had one
don't
listed.
Don't make me feel bad, Joe. Come on.
No. I'm just saying. For me, I mean, would I love to have that guitar? Yeah, but I'm not paying that. But
just don't put a bid in.
No, and one guy had a EVH Ernie Ball Music Man and had Eddie's signature on it, and he wanted I think it was like $30,000 for it, and I was like, wow. I was like, okay. So then I started looking at the regular Music Mans, and you can get those for they were listing for anywhere from $899 up to about $1,300, I think.
Really?
Something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've looked at Accesses before, and I don't know if it was the ones I was looking at, but like they were still used. They were in the 2 to 3 range. I mean, it's been a little while, but we had one come into Guitar Center that was used. It was like one of the family ones. It's like a limited edition, and it was. I just never played one before, and when I played it, it felt like it was that big. Like it just felt small.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked it, you know? I mean, it was weird, but I kind of liked it. So I was just kind of checking in because the one we had was a limited edition, and I think used it was $3,500. And I was like, no, can't do that. You know, because it was a Guitar Center, and there's no employee discount on used gear. So I was like, no, that probably is not going to happen. But I just looked at them and just noticed that's what they were.
My Wolfgang's like this much shorter in my...
Yeah. The Wolfgang specials are a little bit shorter. And
I wish I had a camera like on a selfie stick because like I have 6 guitars there, and out of all 6, it's funny, I broke out the acoustic the other night, and it's like my acoustic is actually like 2 to 3 inches taller than all of them, of course.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
The Wolfgang's like 3 to 4 inches shorter than all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I first, the one and only time I held again, the Eddie Van Halen Ernie Ball Music Man model back in the mid-'90s. I came close to getting one, but it just fell through. It's a messed up story. But I remember picking it up, and first thing I noticed, I said, man, this thing feels like it's really tiny. But it played so good.
It's like a dinky.
And it just didn't. I can tell the story. It just didn't work out. But first, let's give a shout out to Mr. R2R3 locking up. What's going on, man? What's happening? So the story with the real quick. The story when I almost came this close to getting an Eddie Van Halen Ernie Ball Music Man. I went. There was a music store in Charlotte called Reliable Music, and I would go there all the time. Of course, this is when I was still living in Charlotte. I hadn't moved to start driving a truck yet. So I went in there, and they had this red one on like its own little podium above all the other guitars. I said, man, that looks great. I've been wanting one of those for, since they came out, and they only had one. It was red. It was beautiful. And so I asked the salesman if I said, "Man, can you hold it? Is there a way you can hold the guitar for me?" He goes, "Yeah, we can for maybe a couple hours or something. Unless somebody comes in here with cash money, then it's gone." He said, "But if nobody does, we'll hold it." And I said, "Okay, thank you." So he took just a piece of paper and he put "Hold for Joe Wentz" and he slid it in between the guitar strings. And so I left to go get my dad. I went to go ask my dad if he could co-sign for it. I didn't have the money to buy it. And so my dad surprisingly agreed to come up there. And my parents always had great credit. And so I was like, "We got this in the bag, man. I got it." So we went in there and I got the salesman. I said, "Hey, man, here's my dad." And he's like, "Okay." So they go to talk. And I'm over there looking at it. I didn't, I played it earlier, but at this point in time, I didn't even grab it again. So about 10 minutes goes by, and I'm pacing back and forth, real nervously, back and forth pacing. And my dad looks at me and he whistles. And he calls me, motions me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought, you sign here and I sign here. But that ain't what he said. He said, "Let's go." And I said, "Huh?" He said, "Let's go." He goes, "It didn't work." I said, "It didn't work." He goes, "Nope, didn't work." And my heart just sank. And when we were walking in, I looked over my shoulder and I saw that salesman pull that piece of paper out of the strings of the guitar, and he tore it, put it up. I said, and that was the only time I got to play and hold an Ernie Ball Music Man, Eddie Van Halen model. And that was my story. That was the closest I came to it. But like I said, I look them up from time to time, and man, they're very expensive. But they played good. They played good. But yeah.
So what the credit thing just didn't work out, or what was the?
I don't know. I don't know. I never really asked any details. He just said that they ran everything and it just come back. It just didn't. Yeah, I don't know why, because my parents always had excellent credit, and so I don't know if it was a glitch and I don't know, but it was strange. Michaels himself is in there chat. Hey man, how you doing? Thank you, Mr. Mike. Thank you, man. But yeah, he never told me, so he just said the guy said it didn't work, and I thought, huh? So there you go. So, but anyway,
it's kind of funny though. Like kids, like today we were car shopping for my daughter.
I got to do that soon.
And she's like, "Dad, check the Jeep is the big thing, or the Bronco." I'm like, "Well, the Broncos are way out of range for a kid." And she's like, "Jeep." She's looking up these Jeep Wranglers, and she's like, "Dad, this one's only 15,000." I said, "It's only 15,000."
Only.
Said, "Really?" I said, "Wow." I said, "Do you know what 15,000 is?" Yeah. I said, "Uh-huh." So it's kind of funny.
Well, I'm just gonna say, get what you want, or get what she wants. But I used to work for a company called Fab Fours. We made bumpers and road armor and stuff like that for trucks and Jeeps. And so we used a lot of Jeeps to put our products on and take them to shows and stuff like that. That is the most uncomfortable ride I've ever been in my life.
Oh,
it's like you're
loud.
sitting at a kitchen table driving a car.
And these kids.
That's what it feels like. You just.
I told her, I'm like, I wouldn't give you $500 for it, and she's like, she's like, "This is awesome." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And it's like, "Oh my god." She's like, "In the summer, I can have the top off and blah blah blah." I'm like, this thing's shit. I'm paying for the Jeep, but that's
Yeah.
Paying for pop culture.
That's it, man. Things are very high nowadays.
It's hard to say. Don't ever let me hear you diss my EBMM.
I wasn't dissing one. I was just sad I couldn't get it. But yeah, one of these days I'll get one. One of these days, I don't know when, but
I loved the one I tried, but I just looked for a
I've
little
never
while.
tried one.
I hadn't looked at any since then.
Yeah.
I've never tried one.
Oh yeah.
It was called like a Ball Family Reserve or something. Like it was super nice.
Wow.
It had like a blue flame top to it, or like a turquoisey type flame top. Crazy bird's eye figured neck.
Yeah.
It was satin finished, had a Floyd Rose on it. I mean, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And I mean, like I said, used, it was, I think, 35 or 36.
Golly, man.
Damn.
Yeah, it was
I'm
nice.
so done with Floyd Roses right now. Like I have like 3.
I do not own one right now.
Huh?
Yeah, Andrew
I don't
sold
own
all
one.
of
I
his.
sold all mine.
He
Yeah,
had
I'm
quite
so
a few
done
and he
with
sold them all.
Yeah.
It's just one tuning, one setup. Other than it's not a Floyd Rose, I don't think, but the Wolfgang I got is nice with the D-tuner.
Yeah.
But
I just
that was
didn't.
like
I
the
didn't use them
greatest
enough.
invention.
I didn't use them enough to warrant having to work on them and all that. Kind
Right.
of stuff.
That big
you know
of
what I mean?
pain
If
in
I'd
the
have
ass.
used it more, I'd have kept it. But I was telling Joe, I'm like, if I hadn't gotten this by now, I don't have the time to put into it to get it. So I'm just gonna just not do it. You know?
It's such a pain in the ass. It's not worth it because you're just
Yeah,
in your
it's-
one tuning. Yeah.
You either love it or hate it. Yeah. I totally understand.
I like it, but it's like just once they're in that tuning, that's it. Just like yeah.
Yeah, once you get them set up for whatever tuning you have them, it's best to leave it at that. Yeah, they're very sensitive that way because the balance gets off, and it's just once you get them set up, just leave it. Yeah,
So I change the strings on them. Like I won't do all the strings, and then I'll block it too, just to make things easier. Because I'm like, come across the screen 2 hours later.
Well, if I didn't, like when I had mine, if I didn't have to adjust it, I changed one string at a time. Like,
Right,
take the E
right.
off, put the new one on,
Yeah.
take the A off.
Yeah.
I would do it like that.
I still would
Almost
block
every
it.
time I had to
I
mess
still
with
would
it,
block it. Yeah, the SpongeBob thing. Several hours later.
2 hours later. Yes.
I got a bag of stuff I'm supposed to send to Joe. That's all my stuff since I don't have any anymore.
Oh yeah, awesome, man.
I'm gonna get around to it, man. I promise. But
Oh, dude, take your time, man. It's
Yo,
no big
this
rush.
is yours too. I told Rob when he brought it over. 2XL band shirt. I'm gonna do a live. I'm gonna do a live, and I'll unveil this, and then I have an autograph marker where I'll sign it,
Oh, awesome, man.
and
Thank
it'll
you.
be worth so much. No, but seriously, so this is
I
the
want
King
in on
Cobra
that.
shirt.
I want in on that.
Thank you.
I'll
man.
pay for it, but I want one.
No problem, man.
One X
awesome.
for me, please.
And this is the higher grade. I told Rob, I said, because when we get our T-shirts, some of them, like, if we start chucking them out and giving away a bunch of free ones, we usually have a merch booth. But if we're throwing them out, a lot of them are like, what's the cheapest T-shirts we can get? And it's like, at the same time, like I told Rob, I said, the one thing I hate is buying a band T-shirt or getting one that is shit quality. So this is
Yeah.
really good fabric.
Thank
This
you.
is like premium.
Awesome, man.
I
Thank you.
think it's our first logo. We have rights. Sorry, we have rights to 2 logos, but I think that's the original OG logo on that. So.
Thank you very much. Dwight Bailey. Thank you, man. Thank
Hey,
you.
Don't
what's
wear it,
up,
Joe.
man?
You gotta save it for when they make it big.
Oh yeah.
You eBay it.
If you like old fat guys, you'll listen to us, old gray hair
I
fat
do.
guys.
Yeah, man. No, thank you. That's awesome,
My
Dave.
singer's like, yeah, man, a lot of people make our age. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
So
I
you,
watched the obituary. They looked young from about a block and a half away with dyed hair.
you said
I remember opening up for Obituary, the band in Milwaukee, and I seen the bass player walking across the street. I'm like, holy shit. Like, he's like, it looked like the metallic black dyed Halloween hair on the old guy, man. But from the stage, it looked great.
at different angles are like, wait a minute, what?
Right, but it was like you to me, like you're right there at the crosswalk. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa.
So Dave, you said you got another guitar. Did you get a new one since the Wolfgang special?
Yes.
Oh man. Mm-hmm. Would you care to dive into that, or do you want to?
Yeah.
You want to? Okay, cool. Let's check this out.
I may have something to discuss as well.
Uh-oh. We got it going on. Uh-oh. Let me see. Wait a minute. What in the world? Let me present.
Is that another one?
I know good and well. Dang. Wait a minute.
You got 2?
Nuh-uh, man. You got to be kidding me.
Wait a minute. Turn it around again.
Holy moly, dude.
Oh, them tuners look a little sus.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
wait a
Grovers.
minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me let Dave go into it here.
So
Tell us what you got.
it's a Gibson Les Paul. So it says, but it's a friend of mine had this, and he's like, "Hey, I got this bullseye guitar. It plays awesome." And I said, "Well, I want to check it out and play it." And it has the EMG 8185s in it,
Cool.
and everything it plays great, and it there's no complaints at all. I mean, and it looks and plays like the real deal, and
Yeah.
it's actually, it's not the high grade, anything like that, but this is the guitar that instead of taking a $15,000 bullseye playing a dive bar gig,
Right. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I want this because if something happened by accident anywhere, I'd be pissed, but I'm not,
Right.
So I bought this from a guy I know, and I got a really good deal on it,
Gorgeous looking,
for what
man.
it's worth,
Yeah, it is.
and
Dang.
the tuners I do want to upgrade on it. They're Grovers, but there's like, I don't know if I can adjust them or not, but I don't know the whole story behind it, but I can tell you it's plays amazing, and it's got the weight, it's got the wood, it's got everything for the authenticity of it, and it's just it's one that I'm gonna gig with. So
Cool.
Nice.
but yeah, and it's called the Gibson Les Paul Custom Zach Wylde, but yeah, the giveaway too is on these tuners.
The white on the back of the
white.
buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, the logo's a little different. The white's a little bright, but you really
Yeah.
can't tell any of that stuff.
No, it's not like an OG one, and it's not. I don't know if it's. I think if you looked up the serial number, you'd probably figure it out that way. But there's different details. If you put it next to a $15,000 one,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still got the active loaded EMGs, Grover tuners, and it's a Gibson. So this is one I'm gonna use. Like I said, this is the one that is going in the set list because the novelty of it, people like it. You know what I mean? And I like it. It plays awesome.
Yeah. Looks cool to me.
Yeah.
Andy Dion, what's happening, man? That is beautiful, though, Dave. I think it looks great.
Well, yeah, and I mean it plays basically just like a $15,000 one, and the weight's the same, and
Yeah.
so the only thing I might change is I might upgrade the tuners. So
Yeah.
otherwise,
Actually, I got a set of gold Grovers. I mean, I can.
well, these aren't
Wow.
Grovers, but they say they're Grovers anyway. But
Like I said, if you're interested, let me know.
yeah,
But I got the Grover keystones.
There you go. Wow.
They came on my custom, but I changed them to locking. So these are the ones that came on my Les Paul custom. If you want them, you can have them.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely talk because
Because I got too much crap.
that's the one thing sometimes it gives
What?
I don't know what I'm saving this for, but I mean, they're gold. So I only have one guitar with gold hardware, and I replaced those. So these are just basically sitting here.
Well,
Right.
even like the Grovers, like I have 2 Les Paul customs. Well, but I have 2 real ones, and like even with those Grover tuners, I know a lot of people love Grovers, and but to me, they always have a little bit of issue compared to some other tuners. And, it seems like you have to do a little more fine tuning with them. And of course, especially on the G string. But there's always seems to be like that lag no matter how tightly you string it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I work on mine all the time to try to keep that G from binding. But I mean, I'm a little nervous to just start sawing away, filing away.
Yeah.
me
So I
too.
use like the nut sauce and everything like that.
Yeah, that's what I'd always
And it'll
do.
help you, But I mean,
Yeah.
you can be turning it, it's ding, ding, ping, and then it's way
Mhm.
sharp. And you're like,
Every
son of
time.
a bitch. I
Every
start
time.
again.
Uncle Ben's nut sauce.
Yeah, that's what always would deter me from a Les Paul was that right there. Even with an Epiphone, I was like, damn, you still get that same issue.
Looks good, Dave. Looks good.
Oh, look, yeah, looks good. Hell yeah, I'd play it. Yeah.
No, it's pretty high end that way. It's just there's cheaper tuners on it and a few little things, but otherwise it's. I mean, going back and forth between them, it's like, I don't want to talk down about any gigs we got, but there's some places that you really don't. I mean, you don't want to you don't want to have people trip into your guitars or anything like that without secure. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
literally, there's
busy
been,
places are just prone to things going missing and stuff like that.
Well,
It doesn't have to
some
be
of
a
the
bad
dive
place,
bars-
just busy.
Yeah, well, some of the dive bars you're playing on the floor, so they can like walk right to you while you're playing and step on your board and screw up your pedals and then at the end
And
of the
there's
night,
always that one drunk guy that has to tell you in the middle of the song how much he loves it, right?
right, or to turn down the snare, and you're like,
Yeah.
can't turn down the snare, and then at the end of the gig, there's always that guy that's like, I hope you load your guitars. You're like, no, just no, please, no, I want
Thanks.
to, no, don't, no.
Yeah.
I
I'm
got
good,
him.
man.
I got him. So
I had a guy one time that he was a nice guy, but he came up to me. He's like, "Man, music is my life. I watch VH1 from 3 to 7 every day." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, man! I hear you."
nothing like a 2:30 in the morning. People are just obliviated, being like, I'll pack your shit up for you. No, I got it.
Lord.
I got it. Please let me get it. Please.
Andy says definitely don't bring the best gear to bars. I agree. I agree
No.
100%. I would not do that.
And you want good gear, so that's what.
Oh yeah, but
Agreed.
There is I'll take a couple $1,000 guitars, but not like.
I'm not taking my best stuff out. I'm not doing that.
No.
I'll if there's something, I'll buy an Epiphone and just take that.
Right.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna take that Wolfgang. I'm gonna take my Wolfgang right into a dive bar, just because I can use it for so many songs. Because, I just feel like for some reason that one won't. I don't know. I just feel like it's not gonna get messed with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something with a big bullseye on it, people are gonna be like, "Oh, I want to see that guitar and help pack it up or something." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Speaking of other guitars, I want to talk about this real quick. Andrew actually brought this up a few days ago. Let me see if I can do this properly here. Let's see if I can share a screen. I thought it would be great to talk about. Let's see. Select using. All right. Okay. So, let's see what this
I have a
happens
guitar
here.
to talk about too.
Let me see. Okay. Let me see if I can go to this here. All right. Y'all see that right there?
Yeah.
This is the new, I guess, color scheme of the Frankenstrat or Frankie or whatever. Is that correct? Okay. Now, of course, we're all used to seeing the typical red with the white and black stripes, and I guess the past year or so they've come out with these types of color schemes and whatever. And so let me scroll through these colors here before I move on. Of course, that's a sunburst, and we got that silver. Okay.
Silver burst, yeah.
Yes, silver burst, and this right here is a
Blue
okay.
burst, I guess.
Yeah. And we got the all right. And we go to that, and then finally this. So, for me personally, I was just kind of like, wow, that's different. Would I buy this? No, I would not. I think it's a little bit of a stretch just for me personally. As a customer, I wouldn't want it. But that's just me. You're looking at what they say? 1550. Okay. Wow. But everybody's different. That's just my opinion. So let's go over here. What do you think, Andrew?
That guitar in those colors really evoke nothing out of me. I really don't have an opinion about it. I'm just kind of indifferent. I don't. We can get into my reasonings later, but to me, if you're gonna make an Eddie inspired guitar like a Frankenstein, like it's not just like a Wolfgang or something like that. This is based off a certain one. I mean, and to me, I'm not that big of a Van Halen fan, but if I were, I don't know. I would just, if he didn't have one, I wouldn't want, you know what I mean? If it wasn't his idea to do, this just seems to me like Fender's just taking one of his ideas and is just changing the color and making more of them so the fans will have more to buy. And I feel like it's a money grab. I hate to say that because there's probably a market for these. And if there is, by all means, let the people buy it and let them do it. But why not just make that just a regular relic Strat and not put EVH behind it? Because like I said, he didn't have one. I don't even know if he had a silver burst guitar or, a blue burst guitar or something like that that was in that shape or anything. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big fan, so I don't know the history and everything. It just seems to me like, I don't know, just stick with what works. Stripes and...
Yeah, I'm used to seeing it striped up. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just, like I said, I think it's kind of a money grab. Let me hit this chat real quick, fellas. Whoops, I hit something there, something wrong. Mr. Charles Birch, I believe. How are you, man?
What's up, bud?
Thank you for being here.
Chuck, my man.
What is going on, sir? Mr. Ron Pepper, what is going on, Ron?
Ron.
Yeah.
Ron Pepper.
Yeah, Ron, your EVH that you got, man, is absolutely wonderful. It's not the Frankenstein model. It's just a regular Strat. It's wonderful. He sent me pictures of it. It is. I was like, man, I'll have to get one of those myself. Mr. Mick, what is going on?
Mr. Mick.
Nick, what's happening, brother?
And, let me plug up my damn laptop before we lose everything. All right. Kush is, yes, I agree. He says he doesn't like the solid colors. I don't either. I just don't. I mean, that's just me. That's all. Not saying it's bad.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, Dave, what's your opinion, man?
Well, I know this community is a lot of EVH, so I don't really want to piss everybody off, but I've never been a huge fan of like the Frankenstrat anyway. I've been a huge fan of Eddie, what he's done. I think he's a genius, what he's come up with, his tones, his amps. I have a Wolfgang, think it's amazing. So with all that hoopla being said, Yeah, I don't care for them at all. If I was gonna get one, I would get the original Frankenstrat.
Yeah.
But again, like, I don't know why, but I like my guitars to look. I know why people buy them. I know what Eddie did, but I like my guitars to look nicer. And even though I buy like novelty guitars like the Zakk Wylde, the Signature, and the
Right.
but I mean, I agree with Andrew. I think it's a bit of a money grab. I guess looking at it from outside the box, a different perspective, maybe it will grab some other Strat players or different people that, normally wanted to get a guitar that had that sound, but they didn't want all the stripes. But as far as I go, it's not definitely. I would never spend
Like,
that
I mean,
money on one.
to me, if I was to buy an EVH inspired guitar, which I used to have a Gibson one, but like I would want one. If I was that big of a fan that I wanted an EVH guitar, I would want to get one that he had, like a Bumblebee, or a Frankenstrat, or a Circles, or like Joe was looking at Axis, and things like that. I just don't. I don't know, but it seems to me like if Fender had made that and sent it to Eddie, he'd have been like, "No, I don't want this." Like I don't need this. So
Right.
I don't know a whole lot about Eddie, but I do know that he said find a guitar and play. So I mean, really, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Like if somebody wants to play one of these, then absolutely. And if somebody doesn't, then find one you want to play. So it's
Right.
It's either way.
Yeah.
I find that interesting what R2 said. So he says nobody will yell, play Eruption with the striped Frankie on stage. See,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
People wouldn't expect you to know his stuff if it doesn't look just like his stuff.
Oh,
maybe.
If it doesn't
so that's
have
what
the
he's saying.
stripes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
therefore, I agree
Yeah.
with you 100% R2. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why
I'm sorry,
I've always
I read into that wrong. Sorry.
That's why I've always
Partial buzz.
refrained from taking the striped guitar. If I was doing a gig somewhere, I
Right.
would not take that striped guitar out. Just for that reason. So people, who are you going to play? I'm like, oh my God.
You have that one
So,
fucker that goes,
Yeah.
hey, he didn't play that just like that.
yeah. Oh, well,
Oh,
you get that everywhere. But
yeah. But you get
But,
that in gigs too. You got those one player's like, oh, you didn't, the drum beat wasn't just the same with the guitar solo. It's like, yeah. Good for you. Good for you,
Andy
pal.
Dion sits talking about
do it.
Freebird. I was thinking it, buddy, because I am here. I was
Yeah.
Oh,
thinking
we
it.
get that all the time.
That one
Play
dude.
Freebird. I'm like, dude, please.
People just like hollering that shit. Drunks just like,
That's the drunk chant.
it's the drunk thing like Freebird. It's like,
I'll
screw
play
you,
it
man.
if you leave. Then I'll play it.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're out of here.
Freebird, or do you know any Metallica? It's like,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Now the guitar that I would play live, that's a great segue. Then we'll get into Andrew said he had something he wanted to share. But if you're playing live, Andrew, just hypothetically, if you're playing live, what guitar are you taking? Or two?
Like that I have now.
Yeah, I mean, if you were playing a gig tomorrow and you were ready to go, and what,
Probably the Rev Star. It's a mid-level guitar. It can do a lot of things. Here. Let me go grab it.
okay, nice. Rodecaster. All right, let's see here. Oh, cool! Look at this.
But I mean, it can do a lot of things. It's not super break the bank. You can get good sounds out of it. It's a hardtail, so tuning's not that big of a deal. It's just a good solid guitar. But if
Nice.
something happens to it, it's not $2,500. That I've missed.
Right. Right.
It would still hurt, but I also don't want
Yeah.
to take a Squier Strat and it not be able to do heavy stuff because it's loaded with single coils and stuff like that. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would grab a mid-grade thing,
Yeah.
like this. I think this was
Nice.
$600 used, $625 used. I
Still,
think they're
that's-
eight.
yeah.
They're $850 new, but I mean, I
Okay.
don't buy a whole lot new these days. But it's a great guitar. It's a comfortable guitar to play too for a long time. It's not heavy.
Yeah. Right.
I wouldn't take my custom, not because it's just nice, but it weighs 10 pounds. So, I mean,
Yeah, man.
you hold on to that for 3 hours, and I'm about to be 46.
Okay.
I'm not going to be any good. That's it.
I am 46.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, brother.
I got, what's
doesn't
today? The
get
second. I've
easier.
got 19 days or 18 days. I've got 18 days.
It's some of my most back pain hurting gigs is at 46 years old. I didn't know I could hurt like that in some of those. But
So, Dave, for you, I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask. For
Sure.
you, when you're going out to play, what couple guitars are you taking?
So, not to make this short story long, but if 45-minute gigs are great too. If we're in a lineup of a lot of bands, it's a quick gig, or I'll design a set list where I basically need 2 guitars, maybe tops. So right now that I have the Wolfgang, I might just grab that because I can play it for 90% of the list. But a typical gig where we're playing like 3 hours, 2 hours, my main guitar until I bought the Wolfgang was my CE PRS Custom.
Nice.
Which, okay, so basically it's a $2,500 guitar, but I paid $1,300 for it, I think, back in 2019 or 2020 from a guy in South Carolina. But so the PRS, right now, my main guitar would be a PRS, Wolfgang, and probably my Carvin. So, a bigger gig is 6 guitars, but just like Andrew was saying, I'm trying not to take my real expensive guitars, but that Wolfgang's so universal.
Yeah.
It's because a bass player can, should I say, transpose or not have to tune quite as often. So I try to look at a set list that I can do the least amount of guitar switches with. And Wolfgang's flat black and it's whatever. So
Right.
I just kind of go with that.
Andy
Yeah,
Dion's
people
thinking the same
rob
thing.
shit.
Did you get that PRS from a guy in South Carolina named Rob?
Yeah, Rob's Music Store. It was.
No, I just didn't
He
know.
claimed he played it in a church, but he said, "Look, motherfucker, it's a $2,000 guitar for you, $1,300." I don't know he didn't know what the fuck it was. He thought people robbing shit,
Searching for tone. What's going on, man?
searching for tone. What's up?
What's
But
happening,
yeah,
my
so
friend?
that's the deal. Now that I bought that new bullseye Gibson, that's definitely I'm gonna be rocking that for our songs and drop C. So looking for it.
Cool.
Yeah. If I was playing a gig tomorrow, the 2 guitars I would take, because we were just if you're just joining, we're talking about what equipment would you take out to a gig if you were playing live somewhere. We definitely wouldn't want to take real expensive stuff, but not real cheap stuff. Something that would do the job. So for me, I would take a couple of Wolfgang Standards. That's what I would take.
Okay.
And because I've done it before, and they hold up.
So I have a
pickups are
question.
great.
I'm
Yes.
gonna be dumb for a minute. So it's always confused me, and I think it's probably gone back and forth with. But a standard is below a special
Yes.
because I'm used to like
Yeah.
Gibsons where a special is below a standard. I mean, it's a totally different guitar, pretty much, with different pickups
Right.
and stuff. But I was just making sure that the standard is kind of the
Yeah,
then the
it's
special
kind of
has
like the
tops
the,
or
the
something like that.
Strats. It's like your Strat made in Mexico model,
Mm-hmm.
But the standards also don't have a detuner. They're just regular EVH branded
Okay.
trim systems. So I love the standards. I've got a few of them, and they hold up well, in my opinion. They do really well.
Oh
and
yeah.
pickups are great too.
And I just like the reason I got I have the made in Japan signature, and the reason the D-tuner, and I used the shit out of that guitar because I only bought it because I didn't only buy it, but the D-tuner because
Yeah.
you can go from standard right to
Mhm.
drop D,
Yes.
Digitech whammy pedal, boom, drop C,
Yes.
back into standard Whammy pedal, boom, standard D. So that guitar gave me so many options to not taking off guitar through the set and plugging in
Yes.
another one. That's why, even though that's an expensive guitar, that's
Right.
still why that sucker I'll gig with, because it's like
It's a Swiss
when I got
Army
off, like,
knife
this
kind
is
of thing,
awesome.
right?
Sorry, go ahead.
It's like a Swiss Army knife. It's just good for a whole lot of different things.
Absolutely. No,
That's right.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
right.
he's right.
It
Yeah,
is. And it sounds amazing. Plays friggin' great. Plays as good as my PRS. So the only thing it doesn't have is because Eddie wasn't a big chugger or doing all that more heavier metal stuff. So it comes up a little light on some of the low end, but all you have to do is adjust your amp with a little extra gain to make up for that. So, and that's what I did.
Right.
And if it's too much gain when I grab my PRS, I know where I can just dial that gain back on the amp a little bit.
What? Pro Audio Stars has EVH Wolfgang specials for $3.99.
Wow.
So
right
it's
back.
neat you brought that
I'll
up,
be right
Andy, fellow Andy. But I was watching something on YouTube, and maybe it was Philip McKnight, but they were talking about used gear, and like Pro Audio Star came up, and there are so many people out there that are buying used guitars from Pro Audio Star that aren't used. Like they're looking at them and they're new. They can't find any evidence. So they were kind of thinking that Pro Audio Star got a bunch of stuff from the dealerships from the pandemic. From the pandemic that they overproduced and they didn't go anywhere. So they're kind of selling them as B stock, but there's nothing wrong with them. So it's a pretty good deal.
I have to ask a stupid question. Is Pro Audio Star, is that a legit site, or is that just?
I've seen stuff on Reverb. I don't know if they have a site, but I've gotten stuff from them from Reverb before.
Oh, you have purchased from them. Okay.
Yes, I have.
And you were satisfied with that purchase?
Yeah. Now the one I got was used. What did I get from that? But mine was definitely used. But I mean, it wasn't. I think I had got a classic vibe Telecaster or something like that.
Wow.
It's been away. And I mean, it was used. It had like pick marks on the pick guard, but that was it. I mean, it didn't have any kind of dings or anything.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Frank. I appreciate that. They're out of New York. Thank you for letting me know that. I've never heard of them. Oh, that's odd. That's so crazy because I was looking at a Wolfgang special on Reverb a couple of nights ago. Had a beautiful top on it. So I definitely need to check out Pro Audio Star. And the guy was wanting this Wolfgang special. I was looking at it. It came with a case, and it was just kind of like your generic case, like if you could turn a gig bag into a case, that kind of material, So it wasn't like a hard shell case, but I think he wanted like $650 with $100 shipping. I was like, I'm sure you can get them down a little lower than that, but
yeah.
But this Pro Audio Star, I have to look at them. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Thank you all for chiming in. Andy says Pro Audio Star is legit. It's a legit website. I got a Schecter, brand new, perfect condition. Wow. That's
and probably paid
amazing.
10 or 15% less.
Wow.
Just because it was from there. I don't know
This
if they
is
ordered
great
in bulk
news, man.
or you know what I mean?
This is fantastic news. Okay. Mr. Frank sees another comment about Pro Audio Star. He said, I purchased my Charvel from them. Oh, my God. Andy says, the Wolfgang special, the gold sparkle on Pro Audio Star site. This looks sweet. Uh-oh. Oh, my God. Man.
2 weeks, Joe, have a new guitar. Calling it.
I mean, but if they're going for $3.99, that's crazy. That's insane. For a Wolfgang special? Oh, my God, dude. I'd be all over that. Dave says, I know what that means.
Y'all, we're going to have to let y'all go.
Simmer down.
Joe's got to go on Reverb. So thank y'all. Y'all been great. We'll see you next time.
He crazy, man. He crazy.
Okay, order.
Yeah, we can do it live.
Dave said, I know how Joe is. Oh,
Damn,
man.
you play that one more time, I'm going to order one.
Dave would say, hey, look at this, what I got. And I was like,
We're
wait a
gonna be
minute, I
playing
get my
a song.
phone. Like, Dave said, damn.
We're going to be done
I can't
playing a
show my
song
toys
and come
no
back
more.
on, and Joe's going to be like, oh, damn.
Every time I get something cool, Joe orders it. Oh, shit.
But that's how you learn about cool stuff is from your friends, you know?
Absolutely. And you too. I mean, that's what I love about this community. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is it's about sharing an experience and
Yeah.
trying to figure it out and Who can play the best? No, I'm just kidding.
God damn.
Who's got the best
Throw that
gear?
in there. What the hell?
Who's got the best? I'm just kidding. I'm seriously kidding. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
It doesn't matter unless you're. Never mind.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Gas is real, Andy says. Yes, it is here. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Andrew, was there something you was wanting to go into, sir?
Yes, I also have a new acquisition.
Okay,
So,
let's go. Yes, sir.
I think it was
Please.
2 weeks ago. My wife and I, on Saturdays and stuff, she works from home, so we got to get out of the house.
Yes.
And, we got a couple shopping centers around here, and, we have to hit up Lowe's, and, she likes crafts and stuff like that, so we do Michael's and things like that.
Yes.
And there's a fabric store called Joanne that she likes to go look at. They have seasonal things and stuff like that. And it's right beside our Guitar Center. So if we go to Joanne's, I'm just like, well, I'm just going to pop in, And sometimes she goes with me. Sometimes she'll be like, well, I'll meet you in there,
Right. I'm just going to look.
And so, I got a good buddy that works there. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go see Tim. And she's like, all right, I'll go. And so we walk in and, just talk to him for a little bit. And, they have the corral where everybody is. I know, like, some of them are, like, against the wall, but ours is just in the middle. It's like a circle where all the registers are.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when people return things or when they sell stuff in or, one of the staff decides to play something, they'll just stick it back there and then it'll be in a guitar stand. And she looks back there and she's like, oh, look at that one. And it was a blue guitar. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And, I really didn't think that much of it. I like blue guitars, but she said, why don't you play that one? And I'm like, okay. And, she's got a great eye. She has a great eye for just picking out good stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And so I played it and plugged it in. And, we've done this 1,000 times, no biggie. I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
And she was like, do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, it plays good. I like it. And she's like, all right, sold. And I was like,
dang, what?
What? And, I was kind of
Oh, my
uncomfortable. I'm
God.
like, do what? She's like, no, we can get that one. I'm like, hon, please. It's weird. And she's like, no, it's not weird. And I said, well, okay, we'll make a deal. So I've been wanting to get rid of a couple anyway, and I have gotten rid of a couple. I said, we'll get this one, and I'll sell a couple, and we'll put the money back in the bank. And she said, okay. And so it came home with me, and I'll show it to you.
Oh. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that.
It is a Gibson Les Paul Standard and Blueberry Ghost.
Beautiful.
Man. God dang. Look at that top. God.
That is
Everybody,
pretty.
Cushman says, she's a keeper. Talking about,
Yes, absolutely.
Your lovely wife. And Andy Dion agrees.
Yes,
Says,
I'm
awesome
very
wife.
grateful for her.
That's
And especially
excellent.
because I probably wouldn't have, I saw it, but it didn't like shoot out at me or anything. I love blue guitars and stuff, but she's like, play it. And anybody that's even played a Gibson knows that you can pick it up and in 5 seconds it's either great or it's not.
Man.
It's either for
Right.
you or it isn't. It might be awful for me, and then the next guy that picks it up is like, this is it. So it was just lucky. And I think she recognized that. She's known me long enough to know that if I say I like something and it looks good and it feels good and she likes it, then, all the planets have aligned. Let's make it happen.
That's
And,
gorgeous, man.
I'm very grateful for her. And like I said, she picks winners every time. So that we'll just tack that
Wow.
on.
That's awesome,
Congratulations on that. That is R2. If you're leaving, man, thank you for being here. I know you say you had to work early this morning, or you went to work. So, thank you, man.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you.
He ain't leaving. Isn't he? Just saying he had to get up early. Is he leaving?
I thought he said he got up early and he's getting ready to hit the sack.
Okay. He always. Oh, I hit the sack. That's a little icon there. Oh, yeah, tired. Yeah, broski. No, that's great, Andrew. My wife. My wife
Smells like vanilla, R2. It doesn't
She's
smell
been
like
a saint.
blueberries.
She's been a saint too. But I was like, hey, I'm gonna buy. I'm looking at. I really need this other guitar. She's like, what's wrong? She goes, are you running out of guitars?
Oh man.
What's
Like
wrong?
mine can,
What's wrong?
mine
You
can
running
read
out of
me
them?
too. Like if she sees me pick up guitars all the time at Guitar Center, and I'll strum it once and be like, nope, or play it for 10 seconds, be like, it's nice, But I guess I just kept playing that one, and she could just read it, and she's like, okay, this one's special. So we'll do.
Mike, I feel you, Mike. I have to dodge those bullets too, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. My poor wife has been through. She's heard this guitar so much for the last 25 years. Like, I'm just like, hey, there's a guitar I want to buy, and she's like, oh, you know, like I said, are you running out of them? I mean, what's going on? Yeah, well, this one's special because
it's you try to explain it. It's like, it's good luck.
She kind of doesn't even look at me at this point when I bring it up. She's like, I really broke her in good when I called her in the grocery store that time I bought that.
It's my favorite story.
Dude,
my favorite story.
So trying to tell Joe, I tried to tell Joe earlier, like, yeah, when he was talking about he'd never spend this or that on a certain amount, that the Magic Music Man, and I just like, caution, warning, caution. Don't put a fucking bid. Don't bid on one.
No.
Thinking to see how low they can go, because then they accept, and you're like,
She's like,
hey,
yo, I did that once. Like, I learned the hard way, my friend. I learned the hard way on that. And I said, oh crap.
Yeah, she's in the grocery store with my kids, and I'm like, hey, so I did a thing. Yeah, I said, well, I just spent 10 grand.
What? Oh my God.
I said, I put a bid in. I wasn't at the time, I wasn't a regular buyer on Reverb or whatever. I'm like,
right.
I thought I was being smart and figure out how low this guy would go. And got an email that said offer accepted. So
oh my God.
I wanted the guitar anyway.
Shit, I should have asked for like 500 less than that.
Right. Can you imagine being her? Can you imagine her walking down, getting groceries, and your dumbass significant other calls you up and drops that bomb on you? I mean, she was so great about it.
Well, she's got to be cool because you're still here.
Yeah,
to talk about
cool.
it.
She didn't even yell at me. Man, if I was her, I would have like wanted to take that frying pan and put an indention of my face in it. Man. I was like, hey, but I think she knew all that. I've been after that guitar for years, and like 3 or 4 years prior to it, R2 R3 told me like 3 or 4 years earlier it was like $6,500, and I had the money and I was gonna buy it, and R2 was like, you might as well buy it, because he goes, the guitar is only gonna go up. So much money. So I waited 2 years later, and then they're going for 10 and 15,000.
God damn!
I'm like, if I don't get one, I'm never gonna get one, because they're gonna price me out. You know what I mean? Which basically, I mean, whatever.
And also, the older they are, the less chance they're going to be in excellent condition, too. Because, I mean, yours was in really good condition, but he could sell it to one other person, and they play it, or it falls off, or it gets wet or something like that, and then, what are you going to do?
I'm just thinking, like, if I retire and I get arthritis in my fingers or whatever, like, even though it was, like, a dream guitar, like, I have no problem, like, hey, it's still an investment. If I bought it for 10 and it's worth 30, that's a pretty good investment. I have no problem selling that, because my guitar, I have enough guitars to be like, I could my most played guitars that actually meant something. I mean, does a guitar that's worth more mean something to your kid than something that you actually, a guitar that you played more? So you knew your dad played this one more? Yeah. Or, you know what I mean? At what point does everything become money versus this is the guitar my dad is go to,
Yeah. And I mean, I think I heard Bonamassa in an interview say, there's nothing wrong with buying a guitar as an investment, but you also want to buy a guitar as an investment that if the bottom fell out of it and it was only worth $1, you'd still enjoy having.
Exactly.
You don't want to buy it just for that, but if you enjoy it and it's an investment, it's just a win-win,
Right.
That's such a good point, Andrew. It really is, and that makes complete sense to me, and it's completely true, because for some reason I've idolized Zach my whole life, and I've always been fascinated with that bullseye, Holy Grail bullseye guitars. I was just like, wow. So,
and they're only going to go up in price too.
Yeah.
Zach is, thank God, still with us. Michaels himself says, the good thing is that I bought a few USA-made Charvilles from 08
That a boy.
all different batches. Paid $800 for a Telly style with a Floyd. That reminds me of your guitar, Andrew.
My former one, yes.
And he said he sold one for $1,900 recently. Wow, congratulations, man.
Yeah, dude.
Good deal right there, man.
Yeah, R2, it's your fault, bro.
Yeah, I thought he said he was going to bed. I was like, okay.
It's his fault. No. R2, R2 he's a very wise man on that stuff, and I wish I would have listened the first time.
Yes.
I wish I would have bought it at $6,500 because the value of it still would be where it's at right now currently.
Oh yeah.
And he was right, and that's sometimes I have troubles pulling the triggers on things going, is it really going to go up that much in 2 years? You guys, you know how fast 2 years go. In 2 years, it doubled. It doubled. That $6,500 guitar was worth $13,000 in 2 years. And I got it for 10. The guy was getting 12.5 out of it. And I offered him $2,500 less than he was asking. And he's like, and I'm glad he did it because I don't think, I honestly can say I don't think I ever would have bought one if I done something stupid like I did. And my brain was thinking, you know, if I offer him something really low, he can counter offer so I can see what I actually have to spend to purchase a guitar like this. Mm-hmm. So I think at the end of the day, life's short. Just don't get yourself into financial trouble, you know?
Yeah. And like with my custom, like I bought it at a great price and it was very lucky. Yeah. And I could have turned around and sold it immediately and made $1,000 off of it. And if anything ever happens to where I need to do that, I can at least get my money back plus some. But I mean, also, like I said, they can go absolutely worthless and it's still my favorite guitar. So I mean, you know, it's still not going anywhere. So
right.
You know, it's good. It's an investment, but even if it wasn't, it's still a hell of a guitar.
Absolutely. And that's the main thing. And that kind of goes back to what I'm saying is my girls are definitely, they have musical in their blood, but it's not what they're into. And I mean, are they going to want 30 guitars? I mean, I need to write down on paper what each one is worth and what they are. So at least if something happened to me, I want them to get this much out of each of them. I don't expect them to hold on to all of them. I can say, here's my top 3. If you guys want something sentimental that meant something to me, here's my top 3. Otherwise, turn and burn, baby. Sell the rest. Because I just, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, don't hold on to all this shit just because it was mine. You know what I mean? Like, go for it. Just like, as much as that dream guitar Zach Wylde that I wanted was like, it's so expensive. I'm afraid to take it out and play it. You know, that sucks. You know what I mean? I'm so worried about something happening to it.
But I'd be the same way, man. I mean, I'd play the heck out of it in your studio, which you do. Yeah,
right.
I would definitely do that, but I'm like you. I wouldn't take it out of the house either. Mm-mm.
No, I have a $400 strap for it. I have all, it's like, and it's like, it's a shame, really. It's a shame, you know, but what do you do?
Yeah, well, I understand what you mean.
But at the end of the day, I don't expect my daughters to hold on to it because that was a sought-after guitar by me. It wasn't a guitar that I played all the time. It wasn't. Right. It was just a dream guitar that I wanted. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. If it's, let's say it's worth $50,000 when I die, whatever. You know, hypothetically, crack that egg, sell it, split the money, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Take my ashes to Key West and dump it there. So sell a guitar, get all those tickets, everything. Take me down there and let me go.
Yeah. Say thanks, Dad. Love you. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, screw it. You know,
now, Dave, do you still have the is it Jaguar or whatever that your grandfather had, or is that what it was? The Fender. You do?
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that on the show.
Okay. I just was wondering if you. I just wonder if you had it. I just wonder if you had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's stored away.
Okay.
That's a whole other deal there, but yeah, because of family stuff. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Andy Dion says, you guys see the new Kirk Hammett Gibson collection video. Cool stuff about his first flying V and Greeny.
I love all of those. And I mean, Kirk, he had some awesome stuff. I watched Paul Stanley's. He had some awesome stuff.
Yeah, I haven't watched that
I
yet.
love
I
those
need to-
videos, man.
I need
Kirk's
to
was
watch
cool
it.
because he really likes like weird ones from the 50s and stuff. He had an ES335 that was factory black, and they made like 2 of them.
that,
wow.
That Greeny.
You know,
Sorry,
Greeny was
sorry,
Gary
Andy.
Moore's and stuff like that.
Oh my
so-
God, what a
Yeah, it's-
backstory to that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
crazy.
God. Kurt will not say what he actually paid, but I bet he paid over $1 million for it. What do you guys
No,
think?
he actually kind of alludes. He doesn't give an exact number, but in the collection video, he says, "I didn't pay 200. I didn't pay $1 million. I didn't even pay $500,000 for it."
What?
What?
So I don't. He didn't disclose what he got it for, but he said, "I didn't
So-
even pay $500,000." So
I've
So
heard
all
other
the-
videos. He said he paid a lot. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
well, that's
Oh no,
still a
I
lot.
was just yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's a lot. I was just wondering the amount of hands that thing has been owned by. So we know Peter Green owned it, I guess first, or it became famous with him, and then where did it go from there? Is that when it went to Gary Moore, or did it go to some other?
I think a lot of
famous
people
guitar-
played it because he talks about, George Harrison's played this guitar.
I mean, that people that
all
actually
these-
owned it.
But
Yeah.
I don't. It's owner wise, I don't know. I mean, I know Peter Green had it, and then
That'd be
Gary
something
Moore
cool
had
to
it.
know.
I don't know about in
Yeah.
between there.
That'd be cool to know, wouldn't it?
I'm
Might
going
be
to tell you.
Might be a Trogley episode to tell that though.
I'm going to tell you right now.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Yes,
So
sir.
I said Peter Green, Gary Moore, Kurt Hammett.
Because those are the 3 names on the case. It's like Green.
Those
Moore,
are
and then
literally.
they added Hammett.
Oh wow, I
They
didn't know.
added Hammett.
I need to watch that.
Boy, Andrew was on top of this. Is that Andrew? Is that the only ones? Peter
That's
Green,
the only ones I know
Gary
of on
Moore?
the case. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting.
I thought there was a bigger story to it than that. Not that that's not big enough. I just mean
Yeah, I don't know the history. I
So
I
it-
thought the same thing. But
it was owned by Fleetwood Mac's Peter Green. It's the only axe he has with an interesting ownership.
I had one of the USA non-custom shop ones for a little while.
you
And
did.
I mean, it was a great guitar. I don't like the out of phase thing. I just
Okay.
didn't use it. So I kind of let that.
I
one
forgot. I thought you still had that. Dang.
Go. No, I let that one go.
Oh,
Like I said, I just
man.
didn't use it for what I used it for, And it's, I like gloss finished guitars, and that was a satin finished guitar, Just didn't like it.
Okay.
Didn't like it enough to keep it. So that's
The out of face thing's different.
yeah, and I mean, it's got a use, but I'm not playing stuff that
I can
need to
see
use
that on a
for.
Strat, but not a Les Paul. I think that's kind of odd, but that's just me. Andy Dion says, have y'all noticed that Kirk carved his initials KH into the back of Greeny?
Yeah, he talked about that.
Wow.
It says Greeny has passed through hands of 3 legendary guitarists. They said Gary Moore from Fleetwood Mac.
Peter Green.
Did I say that wrong? And
You said
then
Gary Moore.
Gary Moore and Fleetwood
Gary
Mac.
Moore.
Like,
Sorry, Gary Moore used it in Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Kurt Hammett has passed hands through legendary guitarist. Man, I thought it was more than 3 people.
For some reason, I thought it was too. I thought it had like these legions of famous guitar players that owned it for
Well, I think
a while.
people
but-
have borrowed it and used it on things.
I
a
think
lot.
I think Andrew's right because he was on Rick Beato and he was talking about it. I think a good amount of people recorded, borrowed and recorded with Greeny.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
they wrote some pretty special music with that guitar. I think.
That's wild, isn't it? Man.
Yeah, but
And
they're-
Kirk's like, it doesn't matter who it is. If somebody wants to play it, he's like, I'll let the cameraman play it if he wants to. So the
Golly.
guitar is meant to be played. So,
Well, that's what I love about Kirk is he plays that every single show. He plays the shit out of that guitar on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
And that's what it's for.
but if you were
Hendrix-
worth, 200 million, I wouldn't mind doing that either,
Hendrix played it, and Andy Dion said, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I knew there was more of a backstory to it. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah. Cushman said, multiple neck breaks on Greeny. I didn't know that. Wow. Man. And I'm going to ask Andrew because I know he's talked about it before. I can't remember. Don't they make like a replica of that? And you can get them.
The first thing Gibson did with it was they made a limited edition custom shop when they were $50,000.
Good
And
Lord.
that came with an experience. So that came with a plane ticket to Nashville to meet Kirk and have an event with him and all of that. So that was included in all of that, which was awesome. And I think they sold most of them out. Like Gibson held a couple back. But what bugged me about it is after they did that, they released another custom shop version that was $20,000. Now you didn't get the experience and stuff like that, but to me, that kind of undercuts the 50. You know what I mean? I don't know how much was different about it or anything like that.
Right.
Then you get a Gibson USA one, which is $3,200,
Wow.
which is vastly different because there's no relicking and
Right.
it's just standard stuff. I think the tuning buttons were different, because original Greeny's was, and the knobs were different, and you got the pickups. Then they made an Epiphone one, and the Epiphone one had the Gibson open book headstock, and so there were so many of them out there. It was just like, I think they just kind of wore it out. But yeah, they made several different tiers of them, and that's also good because people that want it that have different budget levels and stuff like that can get it. But it was just weird to me that they did a $50K version and then a $20K version out of the custom shop, and meet and Kirk and plane ticket and event stuff included, which I don't know if it would equal $30,000.
That's what I was about to say. That's a big jump, man.
It's a big difference. But I mean, they're numbered different. So I mean, I'm sure the $50,000 ones are holding their value as the first batch, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird. If I had done that, and they came out with a $20,000 one, I'd have been like, what the fuck, man?
What do you think, Dave?
So I think, I was just looking too. I was kind of researching there while he was talking. I think that back in like 66, is it John Mayall from the Blues Breakers played
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Fleetwood Mac, that Greeny was recorded on Black Magic Woman. Gary Moore with what was it, Persney Walkways. Gary Moore recorded Need Your Love So Bad. Kurt Hammett.
Oh.
John Bonamassa played it on Midnight Blues, I think. He used it on Midnight Blues, John Bonamassa.
Yeah.
Joe plays a lot of stuff that he doesn't own. Like, I think one of his Arena V's.
Sorry, Joe, yeah.
We know you don't. When you say Bonamassa, everybody's like, yeah, okay. We know who that is.
Bonamassa.
But
Massa.
like he would borrow stuff and play it live and then give it back. Like he
I think
didn't
that's what
buy
he did,
everything
yeah.
he plays. Yeah.
Wow. Man.
So there's been a lot of instruments that they loaned to him.
I
and
thought
he'll
even
play.
Clapton had his hands on it too at one time, but I can't. I don't know. Sorry, I was trying to do some research for you, but that's about the most I came up with. I don't know if anybody else in the chat has more information.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know they made so many variations of that, if you will, like what Andrew was saying. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. So it was kind of a fountain of knowledge there. So
I watch a lot of YouTube when I'm at work.
Bonamassa owns all of our guitars. He just hasn't paid us yet.
He just hasn't paid us.
That's right. Yeah.
I have a story. I was watching a YouTube video on Joe Bonamassa, and he was in this music store in Seattle, and it was before I bought my Zach Wylde Bullseye Holy Grail guitar. And he was in there because he's a big collector, and I seen this Zach Wylde bullseye guitar in the glass case. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. He wasn't looking at it, but I seen it in the case in the background. So I contacted the music store in Seattle, and the owner's super nice. And I'm like, and I inquired. I said, hey, what's that cost? And that one was going for $32,000. I'm like, oh,
Good God.
I'm like,
No.
okay, yeah, thank you. I will, I'll be, get in touch with you. Thank you, goodbye. And I was like, holy.
Wow.
So in that perspective, I got mine pretty cheap.
Yeah, you got a great deal.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Well, for some reason that one was probably early 90s one or something in better condition. But, I thought, it's in a case, glass case. It's probably, maybe 15,000. Like, no, 32. I'm like,
Oh,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy.
Well, see, you could say that like when you called it, I didn't pay 32 for it. I paid a third of that.
right,
You know?
right.
Like it could have been way worse.
Look, it only took $1,000 a month for a guitar. No, just kidding. And my kids didn't eat for a month. But other than that,
They'll be all right. They're kids. They'll be all right.
look, if they eat boost, you get one boost on them a day, they'll live.
Yeah.
It's funny how we sometimes rationalize stuff to make it where it's normal for us guitar players. Like, man, it's cool, And people outside of, when just when I mention it to some people that aren't guitar players, they're like, do what? And it's like, how many you got? I don't know. You got X amount. Why? I'm like, dude, why do you
can't
like what you
explain.
like?
'Cause I want
'em.
I mean, here's the thing. And this is something I've come to terms with, too. Like, in 2022, we bought 2 brand new 4-wheelers, 2-ups. I had this stupid pipe dream. We're doing all this family 4-wheeling, right? Well,
Yeah.
welcome to having teenager kids. No, you're not going to do these family 4-wheeling trips. I'm sitting here with $27,000 worth of 4-wheelers sitting in the garage. Not one trip, man.
Oh,
I'm going,
no.
oh, that's a lot of fucking guitars right there. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm like, and there's normal people and then there's musicians. So to the 90% of normal people are like, yeah, we buy side by side. What'd you pay for that side by side? It's got a windshield and heat, so we paid $35,000. Oh yeah, cool. But let me go drop $35,000 on guitars, which is something I really like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm looking at these 2 stupid 4-wheelers sitting in the garage that's taking up room. And I'm like, and then try to sell one. Everyone's on the side by sides now. And it's like, okay, yeah, I really screwed the pooch on that one. Like, my little mind is like, girls, Sierra can take one with one daughter, and I'll take the other one with the other daughter, and we'll cruise all these trails. Shit.
I'm very lucky. Guitar is really my only hobby that I have that I even spend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not into motorcycles or guitars or off-road stuff or anything like that. It's just been guitars. So I've been very fortunate that I don't have 8 or 9 money pits instead of, just one. But not wood. Not
8
yet,
or
at least.
9, but just raising a family and having a family, I want to do something with them. So it was like, it was kind of like, let's do something as a family, get this, and that still didn't. We're still like, well, that didn't happen, So it's like, I guess my whole point of it is like what you're saying too is like it doesn't matter because if you want to spend all your money on guitars, what's the difference? You go drop $30,000 on a side by side. Like Joe was saying, or I think it was Joe too. You try to explain to somebody like, why would you do that? Well, why would you spend $35,000 on a side by side to go ride around in the woods if that's not your thing?
Yeah. Well, I've heard people say that about motorcycles. Like, why would you spend that much for a Harley when you only ride it 3 or 4 months out of the year? Now down here, that's not true, but my dad was a hunter, so my dad has rifles and stands and all kinds of stuff to hunt with. It never really was my thing, but it's just the same thing. It's just something different,
Yeah, unless you want to freeze your nuts off up here, you got about 12 weeks of riding.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
God,
so you go spend 40,000 on a Harley or a Screaming Eagle. I mean, to me, it's like, okay, I got 2 Harleys. There's 90,000. I got 2 vehicles. There's 200,000. Let's say, I mean, I'm saying some of these people is like, that's fine, but it's like,
Yeah.
See, with guitars, you can mess with that all year long.
right?
Yeah.
And really, if you break it down, even buying that Zach Wylde guitar is like a fraction of a cost of like.
Oh yeah.
Of a 1,000cc Sportsman 4-wheeler that I have power steering, there's like $17,000. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, but that's all right because you're gonna, you know, the family. But it's like, no, then you don't even use it. The piece of shit sits in the garage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh yeah.
it's.
Oh, I know. It's all in what you like, man.
Exactly. And people that aren't musicians, like I always said, I don't mean to call them mortals, but I call them mortals versus
Muggles.
musicians. I call them mortals. Mortals don't understand. They will never understand the mindset of a musician, right? Because they just don't.
Huh.
I'm not calling mortals to be an asshole. But
I think they do understand the mindset, but they don't understand it in context of music.
right.
Like there's something that they like that they probably think about the same way,
Right.
but it's not music, so they don't really understand it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I come from. There are people, you know, like people at work and stuff that love sports. I don't, you know, I mean, but that doesn't mean,
right.
you know, people that like sports are weird or I'm weird for not liking it. That's just
I'm not a sports fan either.
My attention is just somewhere else, you know?
Right.
It's the same that. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with. I was saying I'm not a sports fan either, man.
Right, and the same with me. Like in the Midwest, where I'm at, like there's a lot, and I mean a lot of hunters, and I'm a hunter, but it's not on my priority list. So it's like, and people generally, most coworkers, friends, acquaintances, they understand. But I'm like, you can kill a deer with a $100 gun, but why do you want the $3,000 brownie, right? I mean, it's the same thing with guitars. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
You know,
there you go.
same exact thing. Same with fishing poles. You can catch a fish on a piece of bamboo stick with a hook on the end of it. You know, I mean,
That's right.
Yeah.
but why do you want the St. Croix $170 rod with a $400 reel on it? You know, same exact thing.
It's what they like. Like Andrew. I'm sorry. Andy says, I have friends that spend thousands on sneakers. To me, that's something I've never.
Insane.
I was like, what?
Insane.
So that
I was like,
that's
what?
kind of close to one experience I had. So for those of y'all that didn't know, I worked in New York City for a couple years, 2020 through 2022, and like there's a clothing brand called Supreme, if you haven't heard of it, but they do like pop-up sales, and it'll be like this real limited edition, only certain people know. And you could always tell, like when you're going around the city, when one would show up or something like that would show up that of another brand that does stuff like that, because there'd be a line and it would be going to like what would look like a vacant building. And so like I talked to one of the guys one time. I'm like, "What are you waiting on?" He's like, "There's a Supreme sale," and I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "They're selling t-shirt. They're selling a limited number of t-shirts that once they're gone, they're gone." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. How much are they?" He's like, "They're $260." And I'm like, "For a t-shirt?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well,
What the hell?
other than the limited quantity, you know, what's the draw of it? You know, like what's special about it? Like, and it could be not even a special design. It could just be their logo, but they've never made a purple shirt before, and that's it. You know,
man.
and I mean, once you get one, of course, it, you know, the value skyrockets and you can resell it for whatever. And that's probably what most of the people in that line were doing. But I mean, the way I am, I'm like, look, man, knowing my luck, I would do something like that. And as soon as I got that shirt, I'd be outside on the sidewalk looking at it and I'd drop it in a puddle or something like that. You know what I mean? And ruin it. So
That'd be my luck.
I mean, it just hadn't been my thing, but that happened a lot, like up there, you know, real limited stuff and for clothing and shoes and cologne and all kinds of stuff like that. It happened a lot, little pop-up sales.
I should start a clothing line. Go buy a hooded vest from Farmer Fleet for $12. Cut the sleeves off, like I did, not on this one, and sell it for $100.
Yeah.
You know,
I got this limited edition Guitar Center holiday shirt that I got when I worked there. You know,
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
limited. It's limited to the people that worked there last year.
Dude, I want that. How much?
Mike himself says
$260.
$260.
So
Mike himself says my buddy goes twice a year to Vegas and wastes a ton of money never to get it back.
Yep.
So there you go. It's all, when you boil it down, it's all the same thing. It's you're going to spend money on what you like.
Just try not to shell shock your wife at the grocery store. That's all.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
Yes, because
should've
a
waited till she
hospital
got
stay is
home.
expensive as well.
I should have waited till she got home, but I was so nervous. I was trembling because I'm like, OMG. I was like, and to some people, 10 grand ain't a lot, but to me, I was like,
I don't know anybody that 10 grand is not a lot of money.
That's a lot to me. That's a lot of
I
money.
didn't mean to like buy it. I just wanted to get it.
Have you ever bought, this might be silly, but for the chat too, everybody, have you ever bought something just in the heat of the moment and later to regret it and think, maybe a few days later go, damn, why did I do that? Shit, I didn't really need to do that.
Every time I buy something, I'm like, I freak out. I'm worried about it. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say, I've never regretted it, but once I had it, the desire for it went away. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't.
Same here.
You know what I mean? Like if it be a guitar, but like I've always wanted a Fender American Strat, and like you think about it, and you think about it, and you think about it, and then you finally get it, and you're like, this is great, and then a week later you're like, I mean, it's a Strat. It's not that much different, than a Mexican one or whatever. Right. So I mean, it's been like that for me. I didn't regret buying it. I was just like, I was a little. I kind of jumped the gun on that.
Obviously, I don't regret the stuff I bought. I still have it, but there has been times I bought something, and I kind of thought, did I really need to do that? And I pick it up and play it, and I'm like, yep, I did.
So I'm more like Joe. That I the one thing is like when I bought that Zach Wylde guitar, I've been happier, obviously, having kids, but I mean, like, I open up the custom case and look at it, I go, I can't believe I have it. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
And but
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, but whether I buy a car, whatever, every time I make a purchase, I'm like, I was like, you're okay, dummy. She doesn't say dummy. I put that in, but she's like, it's okay. It's like, because I'm like, oh my God. I come from such old school that, I wasn't allowed to have a fan on, or, I mean, everything was like conserve money. And you know what I mean? So I was like, I come from a very different background than most people have. Absolutely, be very wise with your money.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh my God, I gotta make payments on it. It's just weird. But then all of a sudden everything's okay. So,
yeah. I'm better at not buying things in haste anymore. I'll see something and be like, oh, I really want that, but I won't. I'll give it a week. I'm like, well, you're fickle sometimes. If it's there in a week and you're still thinking about it,
right,
if you think about it when you wake up in the morning and you think about it multiple times during the day, then consider it. And if it's not there by the time I'm ready to pull the trigger, it just wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? And I don't really look at anything that's just like one of a kind anyway. So, I mean, if I miss it, then another one will come along eventually. Just put a save search in for reverb, and the next time one pops up, it'll tell you,
I used to get really bent up about that because my procrastination was like, I missed out on a lot of things because I didn't jump on it. But then I have learned that to just continue to be patient, and there's always another deal out there. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part, because I have kicked myself in the ass so hard so many times, being like, you totally... Han totally missed it. And it's kind of what I told my daughter today, like, believe me, we will find another deal if we don't pounce on this one. And it's like, but sometimes it's hard to see. And that took a while to learn because, like I said, it goes back to that Zakk Wylde guitar. When it was $6,500, my God, I could have saved myself $5,500. You know what I mean? Or $5,000.
But if you'd have known that, you'd have bought it. But there's no way to know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to ever know that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no effing way this thing's gonna double in price in 2 years. There's no way. The guy's alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Though?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm like,
SRV
well,
Strat goes for a lot cheaper than that.
yeah, I'm like, it goes one more year. It's gonna price me right out. You know?
Yeah.
But to me, and a lot of people's like, that's way too much for that guitar and things like that. But you said yourself, you're a Zakk Wylde fan. And to be quite honest, if Zakk Wylde was somewhere and he needed a guitar and he was close to that one in a store, they would give him that one. He would do nothing to it and he would plug it in and play it at a show. Like it's that much like his. It's exactly like what he plays. So to me, there's a lot of stock in that. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Epiphones or anything like that, but you being that big of a fan, that it's worth all of that. You know, it might be crazy to somebody that doesn't understand, but to you,
it's the same with
makes
car
sense,
guys.
you know?
It's the same with car guys that buy old and car. Have my drummer buys cars that look like complete piles of shit, but there's a whole group of they don't look like fucking junk. There's a whole community that likes them old guitars or cars that fix them up and everything, and they're worth a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Like an RTR whatever one Charger. I mean, a frame alone's worth like $10,000, just the friggin' frame. You know, from like 71, and like, so I mean, there's all these things that it's just like,
What was General Lee was what, 69?
69 or 68. I think it's 69. Yeah,
an RT.
But yeah, an RT, and then so like the 1971 is like really, really expensive, and like, so like I look at it,
and
like,
think
I
how
would
many
never
of them
pay
they
that.
on that show alone that they destroyed. I mean, you know,
God.
Oh man, so sad.
Trash so many.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though that that I looked at it too, what I'm getting at is about these cars, and someone that's not in the cars go, that's a piece of shit. I'd never pay that. But just like the guitar, it's like it's literally it. I know for a fact, no matter what happens to Zakk at this point, it's an investment. If I get arthritis in my fingers in 10 years, and I want money, like I'm gonna make money on that guitar one way or another. Just like these cars, you buy a '69 or whatever, Cadillac, Corvette, whatever it is, and if it's shit and needs all that work, and you buy it for a couple grand now, I mean, whatever, you know you can turn around. It's like money in the bank, and that's the way, a lot of these investments are too, with probably the EVH, Gibson in general, certain signature guitars, and especially with like, Van Halen and Zakk, and it's an investment. It's money in the bank,
Yeah.
I don't know how much for a Ford Pinto frame.
It's funny. I had to laugh at that because I remember when my father had a Ford Pinto when I was just a kid.
We had one.
I remember he had a dark blue Ford Pinto.
The earliest car I remember having when I was young. My parents had an '81 white Pinto station wagon.
I remember those.
The blue pleather interior that, like, when you fell asleep, you'd stick to it.
You stick to it, yeah. That's how my dad's was. It was a dark blue and had that blue interior on it, and a stick shift on it. And I remember I'd watch him drive that. I was like, how do you know what to do with that? And then, of course, when I got older, he taught me how to drive a car with a stick. And now that doesn't even exist anymore. Crazy.
Not even in CDL trucks. Commercial vehicles.
Everything's automatic.
It's crazy. Here's the kick in the nuts, though. Our contractors, so these young bucks are getting their CDL.
Yeah.
And they're getting their CDL with an automatic. And some of these companies are being cheap, and they got manual, and they go,
Oh,
son of a bitch.
yeah.
My license only covers automatic. So I'm
Oh
going,
wow.
so they can't drive the trucks they got because you have to have
Yeah.
you have to have a separate license or
Yeah,
certification to
that's
drive
crazy.
manual. And the when I got mine, it was all manual. It's the way
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I grew up on that,
You
and
know?
I saw
Yeah.
that transition from with the company I work for. I saw that transition from manual to automatics, and I was like, "Why the hell are we getting automatic tractors?" And I was told because of a lot of the dummies that they had hired in the past, they were tearing all the transmissions up and tearing the trucks up, and
Now
Clutches.
semi has like
clutches.
15 gears or something like that. It doesn't have a lot, or no?
Some are 10 speed, some are 13, some are
Okay.
16, but mainly 10s. But yeah.
Is there some 18s, Joe, or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Some
Yeah,
18s.
there's quite a few different variations.
Because I was thinking like I after high school I worked for UPS, and like they would have the double backs come and we'd load them, and like you could see sometimes they'd be driving around and it'd be like they'd go through the gears and then flip a switch and go through them again or something like that.
They pull up the low gears.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 through
All
6, then flip it
Yeah.
up to the high gears.
From low to high. Yeah.
Because I drove a dump truck for a construction company, but it was just an F650 with a dump bed, so it was manual, but I didn't need a CDL.
Right.
Yeah,
When
Cooch.
I first started driving professionally, they stuck me in an old Mac, and it had the 2 sticks in it. So instead of having the switch on the side, you actually had to go through your gears and then pull the other stick down go to your high side, and then go to the other stick to switch.
Jesus.
So you were constantly what they call double sticking. You were doing that all the time, and that's what I had to drive when I first hit the concrete company I worked at years ago. And that Mac was a piece of crap. It didn't even have a AC. I mean, it was a piece of crap. But I was the new guy on the block, and I was just. But I didn't care. I was driving a rig. I said, "Man, yeah, I'm not digging ditches no more," And I was just happy. I was.
I'm not a ditch digger.
I was a ditch digger for years. And,
Hey, man, ditch digging's great business.
And
Kudos.
yeah, man, did that double stick shift for a long time, and then I finally got another truck, and I kept it moving up a little bit to better equipment. And then I came to where I'm at now. So I was like, thank God, one of the best moves ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss manual transmissions. Andy says, yeah, I do too. Yeah.
My last one was, I think in 2012, I had a Jeep 81 CJ5, and it was a 5-speed.
Yeah.
That was the last one I had, but it was it was an 81, and I had it 25 years later. So
Yeah.
it was an old car. But
Everything
it was
I
a great
had was-
old Jeep, but
Them sticks would last, man. That's what I miss about it.
Yeah, manual was great, man. That's what I grew up on. That's what I
Me
had.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They're fun, especially if you're racing
Yeah.
and burning tires up,
Yeah. Burning tires up. Yeah.
I did have an automatic transmission probe in high school. Blew that tranny out, and then GSI Geostorm with dual overhead cam. That was a manual. And that thing cranked, man.
Geostorm? Wow.
Geostorm GSI dual overhead cam. And that little son of a bitch ripped. And then when I graduated, I bought a stepside GMC 1994 stepside. Yeah, Koosh, 71 Challenger RT.
Yeah.
Sick, man.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Do you still have it? That thing's worth a shit ton of money if you still got it.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
That car right there is probably worth $110,000 if you have it still. Easy if it's in good shape.
Man.
I'm gonna grab something to drink and come back, and I think I want to talk about one more thing.
Nope.
Sure.
I know. Okay.
Okay, go.
Time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Help yourself, sir.
10-4.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, oh, he says he does still have it. It's restored. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's nice, man. Yeah, So the last guitar I got was the George Lynch LTD, the Bingle Stripe. I still got that. Yeah, it's I still got it. Yeah, I still got it. And what I meant to say was I'm probably going to replace the pickup in it. I think Nathan is going to a buddy his next weekend to have him put a couple of pickups in for him. And I said, hey, man, can you take my LTD with you? Because the pickup that's in it's okay. It's just
What you gonna put in it?
I'm going to put I got an extra DiMarzio Tone Zone I got over there that I've had. And I'm going to have him put that in it. And I love those pickups. Those Tone Zones are great. And the past couple I got them, they were like $100. I mean, not for both, but each, they were $100 each. I thought that was a fantastic deal, and they sound amazing. I got a Tone Zone in my, that EVH Bumblebee that I got a while back. It's Relic or whatever, and put a Tone Zone in that. And then, I'm very happy with that. So I don't know what it is about this one. It's just, I remember the first LTD I had, just like it. I know it had the same pickup and all, but I don't know. It seemed to be a little bit better. This one here is it's okay, but it's I don't know. It's just not
so
quite.
You're talking about LTD. Is that an LTD behind you? I don't know that I've ever seen that guitar.
Yeah, I swapped out some guitars today. Yeah, it's
I noticed it when we were in the green room. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
it's an MH, maybe an MH or something like that.
Yes, it's a MH 400, and it's got a what they call a kill switch. So the owner removed the tone knobs in the back cavity, and he put a kill switch in it. And when you plug your cable up, the kill switch lights up blue.
Yeah,
which
I
don't
because they're
use
active.
I don't. Yeah, but yeah. So that's the MH 400, and that is a JS 100 that I upgraded to a gold Godo. And there's the famous PV. You remember that, the PV that had all that stuff.
That's the
with.
Dilemma one.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was like the first video yours I saw. I bought one like that, and I know we've talked about it before. But I'm like, let's see what's on YouTube about these things, and and yours showed up, and that's how I started following you. That's crazy.
That's awesome. And then that's the Fender Strat that I remember I told you about. I got the neck for it, the Fender neck to go into there, and so yeah, I swapped them out last night. I swapped them out, and I was like, man, I gotta take these guitars off and swap them out. It's just, I don't know. I just like to rotate them around. Kush says he loves the Tone Zone. Yeah, me too, man. But Mr. Dave, you're back. You said you was wanting to touch on something, sir.
Whoa. And maybe, well, I'll just ask you if you want to discuss it at all. Something that us three actually were speaking of earlier this week. Do you want to touch on it all about some bands that we can't believe are successful? Want to talk about that at all? We had a pretty good little discussion on some of that.
We did.
Well, it's and I want to put this disclaimer. I'm not dogging any bands. It was just bands that I was shocked that they had success.
Right. No. Right.
And it's it's bands I remember when I was in high school. It's not somebody recent because I don't listen to what do you call it, new stuff. Right. I don't listen to that. But okay, here's an example, and I'll make it real quick, and then y'all can take it from there. I just remember when I was in high school, one of the bands that, again, I'm not knocking it. I just was like, I didn't know who they were, and I listened to the music, and I was like, yeah, that's not for me, but good for them. It was REM. I just couldn't figure that out. But just me. I was just like, okay, they're different, but okay. So that was the one I had in mind.
Well, I wouldn't expect a Van Halen fan to like REM. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but
yeah. I mean, it's
But like you said, two totally different worlds.
Yeah, I just because I didn't know who they were at the time, and I would see certain kids in school that I would hear them talk about them, and I was like, who is this? And I mean, just I would hear in conversation, just kind of in art class. I mean, some kids over at this other table, and I was like, REM, who's that? Is that some new group? And get home from school and MTV would be on and one of their videos would be on and I'd be like, what? I was like, okay. And okay, well, it is what it is.
I'm going to go a little off topic here because that made me think of something. And I know it's been like 2 months since I've been on the show. But we were talking last time about like 90s music and how, you know, the big change from 80s music from generation to generation. And I was like, well, I mean, still, like, I was a 90s kid, but these guys were older than me. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like my generation was making the music. And so I started looking up some of the people in the bands, like Eddie Vedder. I think he was born in 64, and Kurt Cobain was like 66. And like Billy Joe Armstrong was born in 72 and stuff. So it's like, I mean, it was my generation of listening to it, but it was the generation before me kind of making it. You know what I mean? And I guess that's true for everybody because, I mean, you don't, well, except for maybe now, you don't have 18, 19-year-olds, you know, making all the music. But it was just interesting because when you automatically think like a grunge people, you think of people my age. And, you know, yeah, we were the ones listening to it, I guess, you know, most of us. But, I mean, the people making it were people Joe's age, you know? It's kind of crazy to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just going to add that little tidbit in there. I just didn't realize it because when I thought about it, I was like, you know, are these guys my age? And they weren't really very close at all.
No, it's a great point, and Joe and you made. But I'd like to make I want to make a disclaimer that the bands I'm about to talk about, I really do think suck. I do. I think it's bullshit. They're even.
You can think that.
Yeah, I do. I think they really suck. Some of the new bands that I hear on our local rock station, nothing's epic. Nothing will last the test of time. They're such shitty bands. I usually don't remember their name. I think Pop Evil has a few good tunes. There's another band. For some reason, I'm having a brain freeze on that. He sounds like he's fucking yodeling almost when he sings, and I just hear a lot of shit, mediocre music. And I truly, truly believe from being in the music industry over 30 years in bands that I do know money buys you a lot. And there's a lot of spoiled rich kids that get on big shows and get deals that get pushed. And their music sucks shit. And it's programming the minds and putting them in front of people. And people buying a lot of shit music. Now, with that being said, doesn't mean I think my music's any better than anybody else's. I'm just saying I don't see anything of any epic proportions out there at all of music that I grew up on. Now, if I don't say I like Rat or Warrant versus Ozzy or Eddie Van Halen or Winger, to me the bottom line is those bands were very, very talented, all of them. I'm talking about today's modern rock bands. I see just a lot of mediocre shit talent, and it all sounds like lame drop tuning shit. And I love drop tuning, but there's nothing epic at all. And I could go down the list. I don't think it's necessary for me to go down the list, because what we here in Madison, Wisconsin, through Midwest Broadcasting Association, they get paid right by these record companies to spin these shitty tunes all day. And I'm at the point of I can't listen to them anymore. And Mike has himself, and even new metal, like, I'm still of the era where I hated grunge when it came out. I hated Nirvana with a fucking passion. And then, Alice in Chains came out, and I love them. Soundgarden was all right. YouTube never been a big fan of Pearl Jam. But they considered, Korn new metal. There's a lot of Korn I liked. I kind of adapted some of it. even Limp Bizkit was somewhat of a saving grace from some of the shit music that was coming out in the late 90s. So, and I guess I'm going to more relevant stuff, even to 2024. I don't think that I'm just stuck in an era. I just think I know if someone comes out with a kick-ass song, it's kick-ass. Anymore, it's about looking like a pretty model, lip syncing, and country stole most of the rock riffs. And true rock bands aren't there because no one wants to pay for nobody wants to pay mega bucks for these bands, so they're making quick money off them. So
I think it's a generational thing too. Like the songs and the bands to me that stand the test of time all come from a place where I was, like a glory day kind of, young adult kind of, when music first impacted me the way it did. So I'm not going to probably get that from anything today because I'm so much older. But there are kids out there that were my age then that are that age now that
Right.
they're hearing that, and like my parents didn't like anything I listened to because it wasn't what they listened to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's, I mean, I don't have any interest in much music these days. I mean, most of the music I listen to has been out
old, man.
for a while,
Old.
But that's just, I mean, I really don't expect anything. I mean, there's a couple new bands that I listen to that I like, but I don't like them like I like the bands from my time. I enjoy it, but if I'm going to rock something and if I'm looking for this feeling that music's going to give me, I'm going to go to the stuff that impacted me the most when I was most impressionable. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
Well, that's a good point, but that is a perfect point, which brings up this. That point that you made is the exact reason that proves what I say about shit bands now. Because that is the exact reason why kids today aren't liking rock music. What they're following and going towards is country music, which is stealing rock riffs, which is I'm fine with. Country music's becoming more rock besides the twangy vocals. Because the music is shit today. Just like you'll resort back to what was influential on you. But today, this rock music, it's not influential. It's not the test of time. There's no grabbing Enter Sandman riff. Just to use as an analogy.
Rock is also not the genre that's the most popular. Like when we grew up,
but
you could turn 8 or 9 different stations on, and it was all the popular rock stuff. And now it's country because country has taken rock's place at the top of the charts, and even more so, individual people have taken the place of bands. When you look at the top 10, it's people and not bands in the top 10 because that's just the flavor that the kids are liking. There's
a lot of truth to that, and there's so many different things that you can revert back to for the cause and effect of that. I mean, it still goes back to when grunge took over. Every kid that didn't know how to play guitar could play a grunge song. So that got popular, which in return, a lot of the 80s music was the world's best musicians that people couldn't just go simply cover those songs. You had to be very good at your craft to cover those songs. And grunge came out, and that was great. Well, then the grunge era was kind of dying off, and this new era of shit rock came out. And then at the same time, old country, no one liked. If you liked country when you were in high school with me, you were like a nerd. And like now that the country was like, no one likes this shit rock, let's do country, and everybody likes country because they put a little bit of rock twist on it. That's just my opinion. I don't know how right or wrong I am, but I just feel that way. And I wanted to say something to Andy Dion's comment. Falling in Reverse has some of the most badass songs that sound incredible. And I'm talking their album. So your comment, that is a great point, Andy. And sadly, that is even like I like Falling in Reverse. They're a very great heavy metal band. But what Andy said is unfortunately very, very, very true.
Oh.
Their laptop wasn't working, so they couldn't do the show because everything become too dependent on too many other things, too many tones being perfect, too many effects, laptops, too old. Let's just call it AI, digital, whatever. And I just, and again you go back to record companies have ruined things too, and there's a whole cycle of everything that we could talk about. And I completely agree with you, Andrew and Joe. I agree with you guys, but I really think that the big picture is a lot of fault on record companies in general, and obviously everything else is quick, but
streaming services.
Technology.
I mean, the whole thing is changing, and whether you like it or not, that's where it's going. I don't care for where it's going, but I mean, we could either just complain about it or accept it, but
Yeah, I just don't listen to it.
Well, you just don't listen,
and
right?
But
like,
yeah.
let's say Andrew, and I don't know your financial question, but let's say Andrew's a multi-million-dollar family. Andrew gets a band together. Okay, Andrew doesn't have to work. Andrew gets a band together and goes, "Oh, we want to spend the next 6 months just opening up for big bands, cramming our music down everybody's throats." They're like, "Okay, it's $1,500, $2,000 a show, play in front of 3,000 people a show, opening up for this band." And that's what's happening. Then places like Midwest Broadcasting and all these other stations, because the record companies aren't fronting the $2 million now or anything. You go, well, we're rich anyway, so we're going to give these record companies each X amount of dollars so they're played so often on hour. And then we're going to come through these towns and tour. And sadly, that's a lot of what it's become.
Yeah,
And there's
it's kind of like a current version of pay to play,
Right, and there's still plenty of bands out there that are absolutely phenomenal, but it's just they've kind of got their legs kicked out from under them. It's a money game, it's a monopoly, right? I mean, that's kind of I don't know. That's my opinion. Whatever, people can hate me for it or whatever, but
Dude.
I've heard nothing but
it's
shit
your opinion,
bands
so it's
for
not
last,
wrong. I mean, it might differ from somebody else's, but it's not wrong.
I mean, I've heard some good bands, but tell me a song in the last 25 years, besides Whoop, There It Is, or Baby's Got Back, that you're going to hear
25 years old.
It probably is. That you're going to hear like Crazy Train or Iron Man or Jailbreak or I mean anything. Understand? I mean, tell me something. Give me something that, and I like Seven Dust. Give me something that Shine Down, Seven Dust, Pop Evil, I guess even Five Finger Death Punch has had some really good killer songs, but some of these people have come up with some great, and Godsmack, they've come up with some good stuff. But I mean, I really don't think these things are going to tell. They're not really going to hold the test of time.
I think holding the test of time is when we had very limited amounts of things. Even though we had a lot of music, it's nothing like it is now. The market's so flooded that there's no room for anybody to do that.
And maybe
but I wanted to highlight, Mike as himself said Blackberry Smoke is good. They are an excellent band. Actually, the keyboard player, Brandon's from Lancaster, South Carolina, where I'm from.
Wow.
But his dad was my pediatrician.
I've never. Here's the thing: is I've never heard of them. Never heard of them.
Well, they're blues rock, country. Yeah. I mean, I think they play them on country stations. But I mean, they're an excellent group.
I'm sure they are great musicians, but
and stuff like that. So they're out there, but like you said, Stafford, you never heard of them, and they're a great band, and they sell out shows and things like that. I mean, they do stadium tours, but we're in a age of such infinite freaking information all the time.
That's true. Yeah, makes sense
with the internet. Like, we knew Metallica was coming out with a new album a year before they were, and we waited on it. And then when it came out, we knew it'd be 3 or 4 years before they made another one, so we played it every day. You know, now they're dropping singles before the album comes out, then the album comes out, and the next thing you know, somebody else is already coming out with something else. So we've digested it, and it's done. We're ready for something else.
The magic's gone. It's so sad. Like, we used to save up money. We'd run to the record store. We'd bring it home. We'd listen to it. It's so fucked up anymore. I mean, you would wait all year for that album.
That, kids these days don't even have that.
It makes me so sad.
Yeah,
I mean, I would hang out with my friends. We'd listen to the record. Like, which one of the friends group had the money to get the record first?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think there's so much.
Make me a copy.
But you're right, Andrew. You're totally right. It's so saturated.
And everything
with phenomenal musicians across the board in social media. I know there's great music out there. There's epic music out there. But my point is, it's
frustrating that you don't.
There's so much. It's not sorted out. Sorry, it's not sorted out.
And back in the day, man, you remember the only time you'd hear about new music was just a couple of platforms. One was, of course, MTV. I mean, for me it was. And then the radio. And then word of mouth at school from your friends at school that might have heard of, hey, man, you heard about the new album from such and such? Like, nah, man, I just heard it on the radio this morning. I'm like, for real? And you go to the record store, and there it was, and I was like, damn, I got it, but yeah, man.
And I don't know if I told you, Joe, but Andy Dion just said it in the chat. Dirty Honey, if y'all haven't heard them, please give them a listen. They are phenomenal. But, I mean, I've never heard them on the radio. I just happened to catch them, like on a Guitar Center website or something, or, some kind of artist highlight or something like that. But they are actually very good.
Wow.
There's so much good music out there. Like you said, Andrew, I think it's so saturated. It's how do you find, it's so good that everyone can get their music out, but at the same time, that same overflow of music can spew into the radio stations because of money driven. And then
you also have to find it. You can't just walk into a record store and be like, that looks cool, I'll try that.
That's history.
In the rock section. So
that's gone.
You're also, that's another reason we're not seeing things. Because,
That's right.
Like you said, the money, Apple is going to feature who pays them an incentive to feature their stuff.
It's so sad. I got so embarrassed probably 10 years ago. I went into Best Buy. In the highlight, every time I went to Madison on the weekend, whether we were going out to dinner or to a movie, we would go, let's go to Best Buy. And you go walk up and down the aisles of all them CDs. I walk in, I'm going, they're nowhere. Where are the CDs? And they're like, they're all in the cloud. And that guy looked at me like I was a dumbass. He's like, the cloud. I'm like, what the fuck's the cloud?
Yeah, I didn't know that either at the time. Yeah.
It was like, it's
different generation.
So I am going to hold on to the past more because it's so, how do you choose out of a million different artists? But yet, at least in the Midwest, they're pushing these country artists through. And it used to make me absolutely furious because I hate country music.
So with that being said, let me drop this real quick before we get out of here. Is that the only genre that the record company really caters to? I mean, as far as pushing a band is country?
I mean, I think hip hop and all that gets it too. Like I said, there's just not a lot of rock groups really doing it.
Well, the only saving grace with country is that they're using rock riffs. So I feel like it's going to return.
Yeah.
Other than the twangy vocals, like how many times can you listen to a broken down truck and your dog died? You know what I mean? Like, other than that, like they're doing some killer riffs. There are some killer songs. And right now, the way it is in the Midwest, I'll speak for me up here in the Midwest, all the pretty cute girls love karaoke into people like Luke Bryan. They love a karaoke. It's basically these guys that are making a few $100 million a year don't even have to sing at their concerts because all these stupid little whatever are singing his songs so loud they can't even sing hardly. And he doesn't need a band out there. And at some point, and all the boys are following because that's where all the hot chicks are going. And that's fine. But at some point, I think it's going to evolve because in between their songs and their set, they're playing Metallica, they're playing AC/DC, some zombies. So they're trying to mix it in so they're not boring the shit out of everyone in their show. So slowly but surely, you know, I think it's intertwining. Like, someone that truly loves country is not going to like today's country band, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Doesn't mean shit, but that's my opinion up here in the Midwest.
Good deal. All right.
I don't know. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Perfectly fine. All right, folks, we have
Dave,
went over the
we can
2-hour mark.
Sorry, let me say one more thing. Dave,
Go
we are
ahead.
very lucky. We were the last generation of feral children. Like, and we were
Yes,
the last
Gen
ones that
X,
could
baby.
just do whatever.
That's
You
right.
know,
Gen X.
So-
Gen X.
At least we made that.
If you're not home by dark, we're
Yeah,
gonna
you're in
send a
trouble.
search party out at that point. You're fucking. If you're not dead, you're grounded.
Yeah, on your bike. When the street lights start coming
Right,
home, you better
right.
get
You
your
better
ass
be
home.
home.
If you're not home
Better
and you're
be
not
home.
dead, your ass is in
That's
serious
right.
trouble. You know?
You better be home. I remember those. My dad would do this whistle to. He would do
Oh,
that, and
yeah.
I could hear it way down the neighborhood. And I was, I mean, I'd be in the middle of a basketball game, and I hear that whistle. I just throw the ball to. I hear, man, I gotta go.
Bye.
We're in the middle of a game. I'm like, dude, I gotta go. I
want
get
the
on my bike. I
baskets.
was gone, boy, because my dad didn't play. Man, he didn't play. But man, this has been a wonderful show. This has been awesome, absolutely awesome. I want to tell Mr. Andrew Knox, thank you for being here so much, man. Thank you
Yeah,
very,
thanks
very
for
much.
having me again.
It's been great, absolute blast. And Mr. Dave Stafford as well, Mr. King Cobra himself, man.
I just want to say, Joe, thank you so much for having me on. It was a great conversation.
Oh,
Everybody in
absolutely.
the chat, you guys are awesome. I want to get around more. Thank you so much, Joe. Totally
Yes,
killer show. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you so much. I had such a wonderful time. And we had a great conversation. We had a lot of cool things to talk about. Always cool to talk about guitars and everything else, and everything else in between. So thank y'all very much for tuning in. If you watch this on the replay, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment if you can. Appreciate it so much.
Thumbs up.
And,
Follow
Suck it.
Dave Stafford, King Cobra.
Andrew
Yeah,
Knox.
that's right.
Joe
Absolutely
Wentz.
right. Yeah, Joe Wentz Project TV is what we're currently on right now. And check out Andrew Knox, Dave Stafford on YouTube.
We're going live. King Cobra going live signing a shirt for Joe Wentz.
That's
next week.
right, man.
And then we'll
Thank
go
you.
live on the show. Yeah, we're going to go live on Facebook, YouTube, sign Joe's shirt, play a couple songs. Then I'm going to act like my battery's dead on my phone.
That's right, man. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Thank
Thanks
you
for having
so
me,
much.
brother.
Yeah, man. We'll see you in 2 weeks, folks. All right. Talking guitars and more. See you then. Take care.
Right on.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
She came in and sat down right in front of me. She picked up a glass of wine as I took to see. She